What's going on, guys? Tyler Texas Coast Waterfowl back again with another video. You're gonna notice something different. I'm in a sling, and not the good kind during duck season. I had to get some shoulder surgery done, unfortunately. I'm looking at 4 to 6 months of being down, which goes into duck season. So I'm really curious to see how this is gonna play out. I don't know. I imagine I can try to shoot the old Benelli one-handed. If not, I'm gonna pick up a 410 pistol and I'm gonna use that bad boy. By no means am I gonna miss out on this duck season. I ain't gonna let my shoulder stop me. But the reason why I imagine every one of y'all tuned into this video is because we got a new motor. I sold the GatorTail and I got this bad boy. This is a 2023 90 horse Yamaha show. It's been flashed to 123 horse and it absolutely rips. So I imagine y'all are wondering, why did you get rid of the GatorTail? You love mud motors. I do love mud motors. We're going to talk about that in this video. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start off talking about the pros of a GatorTail. One big thing with a GatorTail, the obvious, it can get you places where an outboard can't. That is honestly very valuable, right? You're able to get into some super shallow, nasty places. The second reason is the relative maintenance of them. They are easy to maintain. If you are slightly mechanically inclined, you can 100% do all the maintenance you need to on your GatorTail, no doubt. And parts. Finding parts for a GatorTail is super easy as well. You got to think, they are a lawnmower engine. You can go to any small engine repair shop and they're going to have your stuff. Heck, even there's stuff at Walmart for your boat. Unlike the Yamaha, I have to go to specific places to go get my parts. Another pro of the GatorTail is the durability. They are very durable motors. Honestly, it's held up to everything that I could throw at it. I've been blessed. I've owned several boats and several different motors over the past several years. I've owned 3 different GatorTails. I've owned a old Pro Drive. I owned a Mud Buddy 5500. I owned a Go Devil Surface Drive, and I owned a Go Devil Longtail. And I've owned numerous different boat hulls and boat hull sizes. I buy and sell boats like crazy. It's just something that I do. I feel like I can't ever get one boat that does everything that I want it to do. All right, so now we're going to go over the pros of the 2023 Yamaha that I picked up. It is quiet. It is very, very quiet. It's fuel efficient. It has a lot of power, carries the load very well. It's super easy to operate, even with me being down right now with my one arm. So those are going to be the pros of each motor, right? And guess we can go over the cons as well, because the cons are going to be, opposite of what I just mentioned. The GatorTail, slow. I know you can spend several thousands of dollars, put turbo kits on them, stage 2, stage 3, all that good stuff. You still got to spend a lot of money to go maybe 35 miles an hour, right? To me, it's just not worth the extra money to be able to do something like that. Super loud. Yeah, I do not like that about the mud motor, about the GatorTail. Loud noises! And just overall ease of use. I mean, I just feel like for me, outboards are so much easier to use, or a lot more user friendly. All right, now we're gonna look at the cons of the Yamaha. It doesn't go near the places that the GatorTail will go, and that's a fact. The maintenance on it, it costs a little bit more to maintain these, etc. Easier to find parts for a GatorTail, unlike these. GatorTails are definitely more durable than the Yamaha, but I still went with this anyway. So this past duck season, I had like this aha moment, right? This point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get an outboard and I'm gonna try that again for this coming up duck season. That happened whenever I was scouting a lake here in Texas. I found, I want to say it was like 300-400 birds. It was some mallards, some pintails, gadwall, etc. It was like noon, 1 o'clock or so whenever I was out there scouting, and I got to this area and I seen a couple birds flying in. I led off, and I have a trolling motor on the front of this boat, so I turned the motor off, everything like that, and I just started with the trolling motor working back into where I could see these birds landing. Well, upon getting to where those birds were, I could start seeing, there's a couple hundred, which is quite a bit for the lake that I was on. Sat there watching binoculars and everything like that, seeing what they were, how many they were, where I was going to set up, etc. Right? I sat there and watched those birds for a while. So after sitting there for a few hours watching those birds, I don't know if school let out or if people started getting off work, or probably both. there was a influx of mud motors coming in there. Where these birds at, they weren't super hidden. They were inside some marsh grass out on the main lake. You couldn't just, see them just by looking across the water, right? You had to see these birds pitch in and then kind of work your way in there. So all these boats, they're all firing up. I could hear these mud motors miles away, it sounded like. I mean, just everybody had a mud motor out there. And at one point, I did take a count on how many boats I did see, and it ended up being just shy of 30 boats. And 90% of them were mud motors. You could just hear everybody just brapping around all over the lake. Well, the birds that I sat there and was sitting there watching, of course, they got nervous, a lot of sound. They started getting up, and, they'd get up, fly, come back down land. Once that started happening, hey, everybody's seen the birds, here they come. So as everybody starts coming in there, it of course gets the birds nervous, all loud, all loud exhausts, etc. It ends up pushing these birds out, the ones I was watching. No harm, no foul. It's just, part of public land hunting. I think there's a lot for people to learn when it comes to actually scouting birds on public land in general. Everybody has this habit of just running your boat through the woods or through the lake until you bump birds up, and that's where you're gonna hunt the next day. You really need to go in there and pick it apart and watch the birds, let them be comfortable, right? As long as they're comfortable, they're gonna come back the next day. If you're going in there and you're putting a lot of pressure on them, they're gonna find some other place to go, whether that be some sort of private lake or marsh or whatever, right? They're gonna find some other place to go. I feel like I've seen a lot of that for sure this season. I made that mental note after that particular trip, where I started watching just amount of pressure duck hunters put on these ducks on the way that we scout. So with all the mud motors and stuff buzzing around, I made the decision in my head. I did not want to be a part of that. Not that I'm against mud motors or anything like that. I'm not. And I think people are doing some cool things like Freedom Outboard and as well as Pro Drive, right? They're doing some super cool things, and I believe they are completely revolutionizing the duck hunting motor. But those come with a hefty price tag that I wasn't willing to pay right now. So that's why I did go with the outboard. I decided that, hey, I'm going to get rid of this GatorTail and I'm going to run with the outboard. It will limit me on places that I can't access, but I am not against throwing on the waders and walking into where I need to walk to scout or to hunt, right? One thing I do believe, it does make you a better duck hunter whenever you can take the time to actually break down why the birds are in that particular hole, not just buzz in there with the motor. And this goes for outboard and mud motor, right? Not just buzzing in there, bumping the birds out. Yep, there's a couple hundred birds here and then taking off, right? And go and find the next bunch for you just to bump out again. I do think there's something very beneficial whenever you can take the time, throw your waders on, grab your binoculars, go in there and actually watch and study the birds. One, you'll get to see how the birds interact, what they're doing, how they're, positioned in there. Helps you for the next day on how you're going to set your spread. You get to see what they're foraging on, etc., right? There's a lot of good that comes out of scouting like that. So the primary reasons why I went with this motor, literally number one being how loud the boats, the GatorTail is. I can't sit there and have a conversation with Cheyenne or Lane or anybody else in the boat that's with me just because the motor's so loud. The second reason is speed, but it's also more along the lines of, maybe the best way I can put it is load carrying. Outboard will carry a 4-man, duck hunting load far better than the GatorTail will. Now, yes, you can do a lot of work and get your GatorTails to be able to accommodate that and push a load going 28, 30, maybe 30 miles an hour. You put enough money into it, you can get one 30 miles an hour pushing a 4-man load, 5-man load, duck hunting load. But I can also just buy this. I guess I could be transparent on here. I ended up buying this motor for $8,000, and that came with the 6-inch Atlas jack plate that's on it as well. I thought it was a pretty good deal. I mean, you can go buy a GatorTail right now for $9,000 or something, and then you can throw another couple $1,000s into it with turbos, stage 2, stage 3 kits installed. It was just, in a way, cheaper and got more bang for a buck just to go with this, right? Because I did look at taking my GatorTail and upgrading it, but I still didn't I still had the part of the sound, and the sound was such a big deal to me. So me and Cheyenne and Ling, we can go hunting, we can go fishing, and it can be pleasant while we're out there running it, right? And maybe I'm just getting old. That might be the whole thing at the end of this, is I'm just getting old. I've been fishing with it the past week or so, and granted, I just had my surgery, so I can't use it right now, but just the ease of use and how just pleasant it is to be on the water fishing and stuff like that, and not just be just a deafening sound the whole time while I'm riding around, is very nice. You know, just the fact that, hey, while I was also out there on the water, I'm not looking for the complete speed demon here, but hey, I was passing up Havocs and Reapers and stuff. I passed up several mud motors. Granted, it's a 90 horse motor, so if you don't have a 90 horse, then most likely, I'm probably gonna pass you in that sense. But it was just so pleasant just to use the outboard. And I went with the 90 horse because my boat here, and let me see if I can't move it around. Kind of hard to do here with one hand. This is an 18 by 54 inch boat that I had made in Louisiana. It's not from like Uncle Jay or anything like that. It's just a custom old Louisiana boat builder, right? I have the 8-inch catwalks on it. I have a rod locker. I have multiple storage compartments on the boat, like a lot of storage compartments on the boat, as well as a live well and a large front deck. The reason why I went with this layout is because I try to do something that's dual purpose, right? I love to fish. I love to duck hunt. And if I'm going to spend the money, I want to be able to have something that I can do both with. And then for a good fishing load and a good fishing boat, that's why I really wanted this 90 horse. I didn't want to go with anything smaller. I want to be like, if I'm going to buy this motor, I want to be able to go fast. I want it to be I just want plenty of power. No matter what or who I put in this boat, I want to be able to get them up on plane. I want to be able to, and try to go at least over 40 miles an hour. This current setup that I'm running, I ran it this week, and I got 47 miles an hour was the fastest that I've went. I do think there's some little tweaks I can do here and there. I can get it. I might could get it to 50 miles an hour, but I'm beyond happy with anything for sure over 40. Anything over 45 was a complete plus to me. The only issue that I had is, let me see if I can't take this off. The only issue that I had with the boat was I had a hopping issue. So this motor does way more than the GatorTail. I had to bend the trim tabs. And you'll see that right there. I took a crescent wrench and then bent down these trim tabs on each side of the boat. There and there. I bent them down about 1/2 inch total. And the way that I did it is I bent it down probably about 1/4 inch, ran it, noticed that it did fix. It didn't eliminate it yet. It did fix the hopping quite a bit. So I decided I'm going to bend it down the rest of the way, bent it down 1/2 inch, and then that completely eliminated my problem. Me and Cheyenne in a fishing load, I got 47 miles an hour out of it. I feel completely comfortable. Dang rooster. I feel completely comfortable no matter what I put in here, we're going to get on plane. Now, I do have my worries for this duck season. I really do. I am worried that this is significantly heavier than the GatorTail. I want to know how shallow I can go. I've not been able to test it, and I was hoping I was going to be able to test it before I had my surgery, but that did not happen. I really wanted to see how shallow I can go. I kind of put it in some shallow water, but nothing crazy. Did have a 25 horse Yamaha a long time ago, and I messed up the impeller, sucked in a bunch of sand, etc. And that's a chance that you're going to take, owning an outboard. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. As far as fishing goes, I couldn't have made a better decision, right? I just really wanted something that was the best all-around motor, and I went with this. Now, I will be the first one to say, though, when the Freedom outboards and the Pro Drives, in my opinion, get a little bit more affordable for me, I really want one of those. The only thing I don't like about the Pro Drive would be my favorite one. Out of the Freedom and the Pro Drive, the Pro Drive is my favorite. The only thing I don't like about the Pro Drive is that it requires you to have a Pro Drive boat. because you have the keel cooler that's on the bottom of it, which cools the motor, because it is an outboard power head with the mud motor lower unit. And that keel cooler, right, I guess I could see if they'll weld one on the bottom of this, but I love this boat hole that I don't want to go get a Pro Drive boat hole, because one, I eliminate the live wells, the rod lockers, all the extra storage. Pro Drive boat holes, 90% of them I see, they're very open concept and good for duck hunting, but not good for what I want to do. I want a boat that's dual purpose for me. Maybe one day they'll offer it to where they can, you know, weld the keel cooler on the bottom of it, and I could put a Pro Drive on here. I'd be all for that. The Freedoms, I'm not against them. I just like the Pro Drive a little bit more. I like the, you know, the full reverse capability and stuff like that that's on the Pro Drive. I just think it offers a little bit more features, a little bit more sleek line looking to me. The Freedom, the paddles on the bottom of them, or whatever you want to call it, the cavitation plate, really bulky, but that's where your keel cooler is, or I say that's where your cooling is for your power head. But maybe one day I will get the Pro Drive and I'll do that. So y'all let me know down in the comments below, did I make the right decision, or did I completely airball it and I will regret getting rid of the GatorTail? Y'all let me know what y'all think about the new motor. And hey, if y'all are interested in our Yellow Acorn Hunt Club hat, our necklaces, our shirts, etc., check the link in the bio. And as always, keep God first in all y'all's endeavors. I got a lot more stuff coming. You know, with my shoulder and stuff being down, I'm going to try to make some other videos. If you want to see anything particular, let me know in the comments and we'll make that happen. See y'all in the next one.